Hey folks, welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I did an update, probably about a month now. I am sorry about that, guys. I've been real busy lately. I recently switched jobs and I just got back from a 2-week vacation in the Rockies. So haven't had a whole lot of time to be making videos. I had a real nice neighbor who I paid to take care of my rabbits for me while I was gone. She did a fantastic job. And now I'm just getting back into town and getting back into the swing of things, and I thought you guys might enjoy an update video. It is June here in Missouri, and it's an unusually hot June. I guess I shouldn't say unusual because all of our weather here is unusual. It's very hard to predict. Sometimes we have mild summers, sometimes we have scorchers. Looks like this one's going to be a scorcher. It's been in the upper 90s for the past week or two. Fortunately, we got to miss out on a little bit of that when we were in Colorado. Real nice weather out there, but now we're back in the heat of it. I think today it's only forecasted to get to 95, but here in the coming days it's going to be getting up into the triple digits, 100 degrees plus Fahrenheit. So trying to keep the rabbits cool, and I will say having them in this ground pen has made it a lot easier. In years past, when they were in a hutch, I had to have a mist system on them and fans. Now this year they've been doing great. Yesterday I brought this box fan out here. I've got it pointed to where it kind of blows some air under their shelter for them, but they've been doing fine without it. In fact, I don't think they even need it, but I wanted to make them a little more comfortable, so I went ahead and brought it out here. But what they have been doing is they've been widening their burrows, and they've been adding more tunnels, and they have been sitting down underground to stay cool, which is really neat. It's fun to have them on the ground so they can kind of regulate their own temperature and stay cool the way rabbits normally would in the wild. Let's see what we can see here. See here, we've got one. Sorry, bad angle. Got one of the bunnies hanging out in a hole. You can barely see the head of one back there hanging out in a hole. And they've made it's a lot more like a real warren now, because a lot of these tunnels are all interconnected and there's lots of entrances to them under the shelter here. It's really neat. Up until this point they hadn't really been using underground tunnels for anything except for nesting, but now that it's hot out, you can bet they're using these tunnels to stay cool. I also do have a nest, or maybe 2 nests of babies underground right now. Some of them are old enough they've been coming up and saying hi. One of the nests, the older nest, is right up here, but first I just noticed we got a rabbit way down in this hole. That's Snow White down in there. She stays deeper than the other ones. She seems to be a little more sensitive to the heat, or maybe she's just smarter. I'm not sure which. But if we look over here, I don't know who this nest belongs to. We'll see if the camera can adjust to the low light. Not sure if you'll be able to see them. There we go. You can see them down in there. We got a nest of healthy babies down in there. Now, unfortunately, a couple days ago I lost one of those babies. Something happened that's never happened before. It must have been out crawling around at night, and it came over to here, and it was trying to get through the fence right here, and he got his head caught in one of these holes, and he ended up suffocating and dying right here. So I'm thinking about maybe adding some finer hardware cloth or some kind of mesh to the bottom 12 inches of this to prevent that from happening again in the future. So that was kind of sad, but otherwise it seems like that nest is doing real good. They're not going to come out right now with it being the middle of the day. It's real hot out. Those little babies will stay in their hole, but maybe here in the next few days, next time I catch them out, I'll take another video for you so you can see them out and about. There's nothing cuter than watching little baby bunnies run around. But that's about it for the colony here. Not a lot of updates. As you can see, I've got some Timothy hay here in the middle for them to munch on. The rabbits seem to enjoy hay more in the summer than the feed. Of course, they still have their feeder right here with the pellets, but the pellets are high enough in protein. From what I understand, it can kind of make the rabbits overheat a little bit. They like stuff that's a little bit lower in protein in the middle of the summer, so they've really been munching on this hay a lot. Now, don't quote me as fact on that. That's just what I've heard. I don't know for sure, but it does seem to hold true that they seem to enjoy a little bit less protein content during the summer. And then, of course, we've got the water fount here, which, oh yeah, nice and full. I just kind of tipped this to see how heavy it is. And if it's fairly heavy, I know they've got plenty of water. Something I've been doing is opening that water fount and adding a pitcher full of ice cubes to it to cool it down and give them a little bit of ice water to drink in the middle of the day. They seem to be enjoying that. But yeah, I mean, those are all just things that are kind of to make their life a little bit easier. Like I said, they were doing fine while we were in Colorado. They were doing fine in the heat just by staying underground. So that's really excited about that. It's just really nice having them on the ground like this, because now I don't have to summarize the hutch, you know. Well, summarize isn't the right word. I was playing off winterize. But I don't have to, let's call it summerfy. I don't have to summerfy their hutch anymore by adding bunches of fans and misters, and I don't have to winterize their hutch anymore by covering it in tarps or anything else. They regulate their own stuff now that they're on this ground pen. So, you know, as long as you provide adequate shelter and shelter from the sun and in the summertime, and shelter from the wind and the snow in the wintertime, they're good to go. So definitely excited about that. Moving on, I do want to show you the rabbit tractor I did finally put together. It's sitting right over here. First, we'll make a little pit stop right here. This is where the rabbit tractor was sitting for a couple days. You can see it's pretty barren. And then here's a little patch of grass in between that they didn't sit on. And then here's another patch right here that it was sitting on a few days ago. So they eat the grass down to dirt pretty quickly. With that being said, my yard doesn't get a lot of sunlight. As you can see, it's very shaded back here, so my grass is pretty thin anyway. If you had thicker grass, it would probably last a little longer than mine does. But we've got the rabbit tractor over here now, and as you can see, this patch right here is where they have been sitting for the past 2 days. I just moved them to a fresh patch of grass right over here. Now, this rabbit tractor is not on wheels. I've got this is my handle, just a rope attached on either side, and then I've got a second handle over here on this side, and so it just requires 2 people. Me and my wife just come out here and we each lift up on one side. We just barely lift it up about 1 inch off the ground and slowly scoot it down, and the rabbits just kind of walk with it because there is no bottom in it. So if we lifted it all the way up, the rabbits would just come right out. With that being said, we also have to be careful we're leaving it on level ground, because as you can see, I've got a little gap here. Now, it's not enough that the rabbits are going to get out of it, but we did set it on a spot once where there was a pretty substantial gap here, and the rabbits just shot right out, and I had to run around the yard and catch them. So do have to be careful about that. If you're doing a rabbit tractor like what I've got here, it's got to be on level ground. And if you leave it in a spot for more than a couple days, it'll give them time to where they could dig out if they wanted to. Now, before I open it up, I will touch on this. This right here was a 50-cent Mylar survival blanket that I got off Amazon. It's supposed to reflect something like 98% of the sunlight, and if you see here, it's doing a pretty darn good job. There's some area with some sunlight, and then right over there is the shade created by the Mylar. And so having that, and the reason I wanted to use this because it's ultra lightweight. I can add a lot of shade and shelter from the sunlight without adding a whole lot of weight to this, since I do have to pick the thing up every day and move it. Wanted to keep it lightweight. And I've got some more Mylar here on this other side. And in the middle here, this is where it opens. Kind of hard to do one-handed, but there we go. Opens right up. We've got this little middle aisle here where I can just, well, if the rabbit's not in the way, move. I can just step in here and fill up the feeders or do stuff with the water. And then all the cages, basically this is just 2 wire cages that I fastened together with some lumber to make this rabbit tractor. And I took the bottoms out. You can see there's no bottom in this cage. It's just direct contact with the grass so they can forage on grass and scratch around in the dirt if they want to. And all the doors on these cages are open so they can all go in and out. So they've basically got a 6 by 6 foot area here that's kind of divided into sections that they can explore. But the reason I wanted to leave these cage fronts with the doors and everything is so that if I ever have a problem rabbit that needs to be isolated from the other ones, I can do that easily. But this rabbit tractor's, so far it's working out great. I mean, it would be handy if I could figure out a way to get it on wheels to where it only takes one person to move it, but I may figure that out in the future. I haven't put a whole lot of effort into it yet. For now, it's fine just having my wife help me move it. But yeah, this is basically my mobile grow out pen now, so that the colony doesn't get too overcrowded and so the pregnant females don't have to be getting all irritated. Because before this, if you were watching my previous videos, you know it was getting a little crowded in that colony pen, and the pregnant females were getting angry and they were attacking the young ones, getting pretty violent. So this seems to have solved the problem. The females in the big colony pen are feeling a lot more at ease. I haven't seen them attacking each other or being violent since we took out all the young ones, so that's definitely good news. And the added benefit is that moving this rabbit tractor around my yard is going to eventually fertilize my entire yard with rabbit poop, so that's cool too. And it reduces the amount of poop that I have to clean out of the main colony. But yeah, guys, I think that's really all I've got for you now. Everything's been going great. These rabbits are liking this grow out pen, I think. They get fresh grass every day, which is something they don't get if they're in the main colony pen, so it's actually got kind of some added bonuses being in here as opposed to being in the main colony. But yeah, I'll continue to keep you guys updated. I do apologize again about the amount of time that has gone between videos. I'll try to do better about that. I'll try to get at least 1 video out per week, hopefully more. To all my commenters, guys, I really appreciate you. It might not seem like it right now because I think I have over 200 comments right now that I haven't responded to yet. Like I said, I've been real busy. Rest assured, I do read all the comments as they come in. I get a text message on my phone, I get an email, and I get a notification on my YouTube app every time one of you guys comments. So I do read all of them. I just haven't had time to sit down and respond to all of you yet. So I will do that as soon as I get a free day, sit down for a couple hours and type out a bunch of responses. Until then, please keep commenting, guys. I do read them. It's just there's so many of you now, so many commenters, it's hard to keep up with responding to all of them, sitting down and typing out all my responses. But I appreciate you guys. Don't think that I don't read your comments, because I definitely do, and I take a lot of your advice, and you guys have really helped me think through a lot of problems that I've had. So it's really helpful to be able to bounce ideas off all of you. So thanks so much for following, subscribing, and liking my videos. Thanks to all my commenters who help me out with ideas and problem solving. And guys, I'll have another update for you soon. I promise it won't be as long in between videos this time. And thanks for tuning in. And as always, guys, have a good one.